Join us as we dive into Pilita Corrales' cause of death, lifestyle, family and net worth. Pilar Garrido Corrales, better known as Pilita Corrales, was a Filipino singer, actress and comedian. She was known for her distinctive backbend when singing and was popularly referred to as the greatest singer in the Philippines, and Asia's queen of songs for her vocal style and longevity. Corrales recorded 135 albums throughout her six-decade career. Her recordings were mainly in English and Filipino, while on occasion she recorded songs in Spanish and Cebuano. Lauded for her sweet voice and iconic singing style, Corrales was one of the first superstars in Philippines and became one of the first female artists to reach the top of the Australian pop charts. In 1963, her single, "A Million Thanks to You," became one of the few songs by local artists to reach #1 on the Philippine chart in the 1960s. "A Million Thanks to You," and other signature hits by Corrales, including Kapante I Langit, have since become standards. She was a recipient of the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award by the Philippine Association of the Record Industry, PARI, for introducing Filipino musical artistry to a global audience. Her success would later extend to film and television, where her show An Evening with Pilita is considered as one of the standards in Philippine broadcasting history. Early life. Pilar Corrales was born in Lahug, Cebu City on August 22, 1939, to Jose Corrales de Zaragoza and Maria Garrido Manzano. The second of 6 siblings, she grew up in a conservative and affluent home in Cebu City. Her upper-class and mestizo Spanish family speaking primarily Cebuano, with Spanish being her second mother tongue. Her cousin Annie Corrales was Miss Philippines in 1957 and married businessman Eddie Woolbright. After completing her studies at Colegio de la Inmaculada Concepcion in Cebu, she began attending Colegio Mayor de Padre Poveda, a finishing school in Spain in 1955, one of the first Cebuanas to do so. She returned to the Philippines following her father's death from a heart attack in 1956. With the loss of her father's income, her mother began taking in boarders, and Corrales took a secretarial course. Corrales said that had her father not died when he did, she never would have become a singer. Personal life and death. Corrales had 2 children, Jackie Lou Blanco and Ramon Christopher Gutierrez, who also became actors. Corrales was married in 1963 to the Spanish executive businessman José Blanco and separated while Jackie Lou was still a child. José died in 1979. Corrales gave birth to her second child, Ramon Christopher Gutierrez, in 1971, known to be the father of Janine Gutierrez. Ramon Christopher's father is Filipino actor Eddie Gutierrez. Corrales also had an adopted son, VJ. In September 2001, Corrales married Paraguayan/Australian businessman Carlos Lopez. Corrales died in her sleep at her residence on April 12, 2025. She was 85 years old. Career. Corrales' vocal production was medial rather than frontal, with a consistent use of head resonation, resulting in a rounded, covered quality rather than a bright timbre. Her vocal delivery was on pitch with a notable absence of slides, glides, or bending the pitch, and she used vibrato for any duration longer than a quarter note. She maintained her vocal technique across songs of different genres. For example, her performances of Ang Dalagang Pilipina were not sung in the song's traditional bel canto style. Corrales recorded songs in Spanish in the early 1960s and songs in English, Tagalog, and Cebuano during the 1970s under Visor Music Corporation. In Australia. In 1958, Corrales began her recording career after arriving in Australia for a brief period. She first appeared on Australian television on the show From Outer Space, and later appeared on The Bobby Lim Show and in Melbourne Tonight. She became a star of the Victoria television circuit, and her first hit, Come Closer to Me, became part of a collection on which she was billed as one of the grand dames of Victorian radio and television. She also recorded at least 3 LPs in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Pilita with Arthur Young. Pilita Tells the Story of Love, 1959, I'll Take Romance, 1960, and This is Pilita under Astor Records. Being one of the pioneers of Australia's early television years, a street was named after her in Victoria. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, featured Corrales and several pioneering female artists in Australia in the second episode of the highly acclaimed TV special, Love is in the Air. In the Philippines. Corrales returned to Manila in 1963 to pursue a career in the Philippine music industry. That same year, she recorded her hit, A Million Thanks to You. Her Philippine career began when she hosted a radio program La Taverna over DZPI, where she sang Spanish songs and played the guitar. She performed regularly in stage shows at the Manila Grand Opera House. In 1966, she opened for the Beatles at Manila's Rizal Memorial Stadium. By 1967, she was hosting the TV program An Evening with Pilita on Channel 3. Corrales appeared in movies, most of them musicals. Her film debut was a lead role in the 1967 film Miss Vawa and was followed by 11 films for the next 2 years. In 1972, Corrales' career exploded with the release of her album Philippine Love Songs, a compilation of pop covers of traditional songs, through Vicer Music. The album became a bestseller. Among the songs on the album was Kapante I Langit, George Canseco's Filipino translation of You're All I Love. That year, she also performed at the inaugural Tokyo Music Festival, where she won the Best Performer award. At the second edition of the festival in 1973, she won the award for Best Singer. Aquarius Records Philippines produced a compilation of Pilita's Spanish songs on CDs like Noche de Ronda and Via con Dios. Her signature song A Million Thanks to You by Alice Doria Gamilla was translated into 7 languages. She eventually recorded songs composed by Filipino composers like Danny Homsin, George Canseco, Willie Cruz, Ryan Cayabyab and several others. Corrales frequently performed for Seeing Stars with Joe Quirino on IBC Channel 13 after the martial law years, 1972 to 1981, where she demonstrated her range as a performer of Spanish, English, Cebuano and Tagalog music. Through the personal invitation of Sammy Davis Jr., Corrales became the first Filipino to sing at Caesar's Palace in the late 1970s, during which she sang Spanish, English, Cebuano and Tagalog songs, all conducted and arranged by Ryan Cayabyab. By 2006, she operated a restaurant bar in Green Hills named Pilita's. In 2006, Corrales was selected by Associated Broadcasting Company, ABC Channel 5, now TV5, formerly the 5 Network, and Fremantle Media to be one of the celebrity judges for the first-ever nationwide search for the Philippine Idol together with Ryan Cayabyab and rapper Francis Magalona. She was a judge in the first Asian Idol held in Indonesia, representing Philippine Idol.